Yes, sir. It has been a little minute, but PAR Hoops Hour is back. You know, we here to talk that NBA. I am True, of course, and I got my man Tev with me right now. We are it's been interesting last few weeks in the NBA. One of the last episodes, Tev was pretty, and myself, pretty down on the Golden State Warriors. Did not see or foresee them actually making a big move, and a few things happened with the Warriors, and well, I won't say a few things. One main thing happened, and it seemed like it changed the entire dichotomy of the team. Want to start there first. First of all, Tev, how are you feeling about the Golden State Warriors right now? Like, how do you feel right now?
I'm feeling much better than I was in that last episode. Much, much better. I'm not gonna go championship yet, like Draymond been going and Jimmy, but yeah, Jimmy adds a whole new dynamic to the team that I kind of expected, but I kind of didn't. So yeah, I feel much better about them.
Jimmy Butler has added a much more expensive outlook on his team. He was traded to the Golden State Warriors for Andrew Wiggins, and they shipped out Kyle Anderson and I believe Dennis Schroeder as well, and Lindy Waters, which thank God for that. They shipped out all of those guys and brought back Jimmy Butler, and should I say a focused and clearly willing and ready to play Jimmy Butler, which of course, obviously, the Miami Heat, they know very well what focused Jimmy Butler can do. They've had several successful seasons, made 2 final trips. And I think the dynamic is different because this is the first time since KD that Steph has had someone who was the number 1 option somewhere else next to him. And, you know, obviously, Tyler Hero.
KD.
Now, I'm curious to see where you about to go on KD. Now I'm curious where we going with KD. Where we going with KD on this one? Where you going?
Okay,
he not number 1.
No. He denied that midseason trade, but in that recent Draymond interview, he didn't rule out coming back in the summer.
True.
He said he didn't want to ruin. They would have to do a JK sign and trade probably.
It'd be tough because it's tough.
It's tough. Just because you trading away future piece, good future piece. But I'm willing to take that risk.
To have Steph, Jimmy, and KD together on the same court, I mean, honestly, you can't really go wrong with that. The only concern would obviously be how many games would they all play at their 36, 37, whatever age that they're going to be at. And Steph is about to be 37 in like a couple weeks. So, but Steph has been playing focused. He's been playing some of the best basketball. Honestly, we've seen from him all season. He seems a lot more ready to do what needs to be done, and he's pretty much been hooping 30 points and I think 5 of the last 9 or 10 games, and he hasn't even had to go that crazy in the last couple games because they've been blowing teams out. And we haven't seen the Warriors do this, man.
I don't think anybody had over 16 last game.
Nope. That was and they beat the Hornets by like 30 something. And once again, I just want to point this out. The Hornets have lost by like 53, like 46, 36. And then like right before they lost these 3 games terribly, they like happened to just beat the Lakers on the road, which is like the funniest shit ever to me, because how do you go from like, yo, we got destroyed by this team, we're gonna go into LA on the first, mind you, it's the first game back after the All-Star break, too, I think. That was like the first game back. The only game that night. And the Lakers had to sit with that L. Obviously, we're going to get to the Lakers a little later. I'd rather not, but we're going to get to the Lakers a little later.
They bullied Luka in that game.
Yeah, because that's like I said, we're gonna get to that because I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Luka and LeBron together is gonna be great," and they have had a couple of games where they look solid. But the same way I'm seeing people going, "Yo, like people happy about the Warriors. They beat the Hornets, they beat the Bulls, and they beat such and such." And it's like, well, if we really want to do that, outside of the Nuggets, the Denver Nuggets game, which was a very good game for the Lakers, they lost to the Utah Jazz. They lost to the Charlotte Hornets, and then they beat a no Anthony Davis, no Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford having Dallas Mavericks, which once again, still a solid team with Kyrie. PJ Washington is stealing money, obviously, from the Dallas Mavericks, which I'm fine with anybody stealing money from the Dallas Mavericks because I don't fuck with Nico Harrison or Patrick Dumont. But regardless, Golden State Warriors, they are 6-1 since they acquired Jimmy Butler. They really should be 7-0, but we're not going to talk about that. The referees in that Dallas Mavericks game, awful performance. Don't even know. I don't know if that was just to help the idea of the Mavericks going forward because I don't know, so they could help them look better because they traded away. I don't know what that was, but that was a horrible performance. But Jimmy Butler once again gives the Warriors something they haven't had since they had Kevin Durant, and that is another number one option, another star player, someone who has been a multiple-time All-Star, who has led a team to the NBA Finals, and now they have this dynamic where if Steph wanted to take time off or not time off like in terms of like missing a bunch of games because that's not probably going to happen right now, with them fighting to get into the getting out of the play-in. But if Steph is off the floor, for the first time in a long time, you can trust somebody else to lead that unit. You can trust somebody else to go get a bucket. And I think that helps Steph. He's about to be 37. That helps Steph once again keep his legs fresh. He's looked a lot better. The knee issue that he had he looks like Steph again. He's moving a lot faster. He's not, his footwork is feeling like it's back to where it needs to be. So he's back to where I feel like, what we expect him to be. And then Jimmy Butler has completely changed the dynamic of what this team looks like. And both me and Tev have given this kid some flack, rightfully so, early on in the season. But Brandon Jepsky, Pods, I hate to say it, the kid been hooping. The kid has been hooping. He has played a lot better. It seems like he is comfortable in his role. He's not talking as much also, which is great because he don't need to do all that. Just go out there and hoop, focus on the game. He's been playing a lot better. I think Jimmy got him under his wing maybe, and Jimmy is helping with keeping him at bay. I don't know if at bay is the right word, but
no, yeah, that's cool.
He's been doing, and also shout out to Mr. 10-0 as a starter this season, Moses Moody, who
We started there.
Like, come on now. Like, really? Like, really, dog? Like, really? Like, we've been saying I don't know how many seasons. Every time Moses Moody gets on the floor, he produces. And he is showing that. And I'm not a big fan of the lineup's working. The starting lineup's working right now. I'm not a big fan of Draymond continuously playing at the 5. They do have Quentin Post, who seems like he could, and they added Kevin Knox, who actually was lighting it up in the G League. Looks like he could become a potential rotation player for him. Just another body out there. I think he's like 6'8". So, and on the Warriors, that makes you pretty tall if you're 6'8". So that helps. But I like what I'm seeing out the Warriors. Focused defense, offense. There's still some kinks they got to work out, obviously. But Jimmy has another dynamic passer, somebody who can score the ball in multiple ways and get to the free throw line. So that's a big difference maker for the Warriors. And I know, Tev, you was worried about that at first. We talked about that on Twitter when they first made the trade, and you said if he
I said if Jimmy comes, if he went to the Warriors and didn't get the same calls that he did with Miami, I know for a fact it's an agenda against the Warriors. Like, Absolutely no doubt about it. If he came there, if he went there and didn't get those same calls, or at least half of them, there was no doubt in my mind that it's an agenda against him. But I still believe it is. But he is getting those calls.
See, it is an agenda, but it's an agenda against Steph. That's
Yeah,
real who is
for
against.
sure.
Because JK could get to the line as well, and he just can't really make his free throws like that. But he was able to drive and get some calls, and I think it's just a more physical style of play if you're a little bit of a bigger body. And JK will be back in the next couple of games. It seems like. I know they're being extremely cautious with him. I'm of the belief he probably could have played a game or two ago.
Yeah.
But hey, better to take your time while you're winning, and see what happens. I think JK was playing some of his best ball right before he got hurt, which is why it sucked that he got hurt. But if they can integrate him into this system and have him on the floor with with maybe the second unit with when Steph goes out the game and Butler's out there, I don't. Like I said, I'm with you, Tev. I don't necessarily look at the Warriors and say championship necessarily, but I do like their chances to be a tough out in the West because of this. They could obviously retool, like we were just talking about, maybe go get KD, maybe make some other adjustments. But hey, this is their chance to go ahead and make something happen. So we got X on here. X, you got any thoughts on these Warriors since Jimmy Butler's been part of the team?
Look like he's elevating the role players for sure, especially pods. The energy looks different. They're defending at a high level, playing with more pace. Like that front runner, Draymond, he looked like he's rejuvenated on both ends. They look good. Steph definitely looks refreshed too. You could definitely see that the free throw impact of Butler's game is helping him out. It's a lot of things. But they look good. They close in on the 6th seed. I think they get it because the Clippers are like slipping like a motherfucker. And yeah, I think they're gonna make some noise. Teams ain't really gonna want to play them in the playoffs for real.
That might be aside from like playoff Luka and playoff LeBron together in the West. I feel like playoff Steph and playoff Jimmy together that's a nightmare.
That's scary.
That's scary. Like that shit is scary because you're talking about two players who can raise their level in the playoffs. Going in with Jimmy's missed a lot of time this year, and he seems like he's pacing himself, and we know he turns up come playoff time. So I would love to see love to see the Warriors make the playoffs. That first round matchup is gonna be interesting though. If they're the 6th seed, the Nuggets. It could be the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, hell, it could even be the Lakers. So that's going to be a tough one right there. But speaking of the Grizzlies, did y'all catch the Grizzlies and Suns game last night? Y'all catch that overtime game?
Yeah, I didn't get to catch it.
Yeah, I caught most of it, yeah.
151 to 148 was the score in overtime. Let's talk about the Phoenix Suns. Because on this show, since the inception of the show, we have said the Phoenix Suns ain't going to do jack shit. At best, they were a second-round team. And since this has happened, since we've been having this show, that's their ceiling. Right now, they're not even in a playoff spot, if I'm not mistaken. So, what do we feel about the Phoenix Suns? I'm going to start with Ax. Ax, what you feel about these Phoenix Suns? You think it's time to just blow it all up? Like it's done?
They 1,000% need to blow it up. KD's probably gonna be on the market this summer. This is probably one of the worst big threes that we've ever seen. When you watch them play, they're lifeless. They don't have chemistry at all. They look like they don't get along. Bradley Beal's a defensive nightmare. Even when the three do play well, I think they had 75 plus points yesterday. They still take L's, man. Role players ain't really hitting on much. Grayson Allen does okay. Bo does okay at times, but role players aren't good. Tyus Jones, that signing's been a bust. They ain't listening to what Coach Bud is putting down, man. They shitted on Frank Vogel. At least Vogel had him as like a 7 seed last year. Like they the 11th. If the playoffs started today, they'd be behind the Kings. And the Kings had a whole coaching change, and they got rid of one of their best players of franchise history. So to be behind them, and y'all got the highest payroll in the league, like nah, like you ain't supposed to have the highest payroll and be 11th seed at all. Like they taking some bad losses too. Like they gave up a 25-3 run, I think, to the Raptors. And they got the toughest strength of schedule the rest of the season. Like they gotta play Boston twice. They gotta play the Thunder, the Cavaliers. So I don't see, unless the Kings completely fall off, I don't see how they creep up on that spot. In all honesty.
What about you, Ted? What you think?
For agenda purposes, I think they need to blow it up. But also, to be real, I do think they need to blow it up though, because as Ax said, Bradley Beal is he's a nightmare on defense. It's not really much he can do on that side. He gonna give up. If there's one thing he's gonna do is give up a bucket. Book ain't really been booked this season, oddly enough. KD hurt half the season at least, or feel like half the season. KD gonna be KD regardless, but the role players around him aren't able to do much, like give them any help. Tyus Jones, I thought that signing was gonna be good, but nah. They just need to give it up, retool, and go on the next season, figure something out.
Now, I gotta say this about KD. KD's one of my favorite players. Love watching him play. But since leaving Golden State, he hasn't made a conference final since he left Golden State, right? So
just 1 second round. Well, 2 second round exits, I believe, maybe 3.
Now, of course, we could argue, obviously, that foot on the line when he was with the Nets and all that shit, like, the foot on the line, like, okay. But end of the day, it was on the line. That don't matter. The Harden-Kyrie experiment didn't work. The KD-Kyrie experiment didn't work. KD and Book, I think it was with Chris Paul that 1 year, right? There was a Chris Paul that won the half the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was when they made the second round, right?
They lost to Denver.
Denver, yeah. So that didn't work. Going to get Bradley Beal didn't work. I mean, like, it's been KD left in 2019. It's been a rough last 6-7 seasons for him since he left. And he's built these big threes. And it feels like the era of building these big threes through superstars and big contracts, like, it feels like that era has passed us by.
That shit's over.
Yeah.
So for KD, I mean, obviously he's 2-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP, whatever. He's set in that regard. But like, what really would be next? Like, where would you go if you're Kevin Durant? And Phoenix Suns obviously are gonna look to trade him. That seems to be the case. They were willing to trade him to Golden State before he vetoed, said he didn't want to be traded there. What do you make of something like this where KD is out the door? Where does he go? I mean, obviously he makes a lot of money. He makes like 53-54 million next season. Who wants Kevin Durant? Who has the assets to actually get him and be a contender when they add him? Is there a team this offseason that needs 37-year-old Kevin Durant? Like, is there a team that needs a 37-year-old Kevin Durant and can move enough pieces to where you don't gut your team completely and still compete? Is there a team in the NBA right now that needs that for $54 million? What do you think, Ax?
Only teams that come to mind, basketball fit wise, I could see Memphis, maybe Houston. OKC got enough draft capital, but I don't know. Like, if I'm Houston, I gotta make sure Amen Thompson is still on the team. Like, he's the untouchable. But they got enough young talent to where it would make sense. I've heard Minnesota. I don't think they got enough pieces for KD unless they giving up Nas Reed or something with some more picks. So I'm not sure, man. It'll be a team in the West. I don't really see any teams in the East with enough draft capital to make it shake. So I would say keep an eye on Houston, maybe OKC for a reunion. That's the only ones I can kind of think of.
Yeah. What about you, Tev? What you think?
Yeah, my first thought was Houston, just because they got the young talent to get rid of. OKC could low key finesse anybody for real with all the draft capital they got. I'm trying to think who I said the Warriors earlier, but I don't know how. Like I said, it probably had to be a Joku, like sign and trade. I heard the Mavericks. I don't know how that would work, but I saw something on Twitter about the Mavericks, the Kyrie reunion, Clay reunion. But realistically, it'll probably be Houston or OKC.
OKC reunion for KD at this point, that'd be funny, right? OKC's number one seed in the West 2 years in a row without him. He comes back. Does he get that triumphant, you know what I mean? Like that triumphant welcome back? Like, we missed you. Let's go finish business and let's win a championship. Or like, what if OKC makes the finals this year, comes out the West or wins, and like he gets traded? Like, all that, KD cannot stay off of responding to people online. So I imagine what those tweets are gonna look like for NBA Twitter motherfuckers, because we know how niggas do on NBA Twitter, and they say outlandish and ridiculous things to players. So the Houston fit is interesting. They do have the talent. Just I know they've been good this year, but I don't know. Just not 100% sure. I don't think Golden State's gonna happen. A Golden State reunion's gonna happen. I think KD would be open to it, but salary-wise, it would take a lot. You would have to basically Draymond will be the only salary that even matches.
I'm not opposed to that.
Enough. Now I know you're not opposed to that, but I based on him being on Draymond's podcast, I don't feel like KD would come there if Draymond is not there now. I don't know if they work their situation out. I don't know what the deal is with that situation, but I know he loves playing with Steph. I watched the Quarter Gold documentary, and you can see through watching that how much KD has like a lot of love and respect for Steph. It'd be interesting to see. I don't think, like I said, I don't think that Golden State reunion is really going to happen. I think they want to go medal together. That's pretty much the end of that story. And, we'll see how Kuminga does when he comes back. Kuminga could be on the move this offseason for another piece to put next to Steph and Jimmy. So we'll see. I mean, Moses Moody improved already that he can go out there and hoop. If Pods continue doing what he's doing, I don't really, we'll see. They do need like one more piece, but it'd be nice to see Steph and KD go out together, but we'll see how that turns out. Speaking of, you mentioned KD possibly going to the Mavericks. I just can't envision a world where KD, Anthony Davis, and Kyrie play enough games together. Much like the issue in Phoenix with him, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. So I don't think that's necessarily a good fit. But speaking of the Mavericks, obviously, the biggest story of this season, trade-wise, was the Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic trade. Luka is now a Los Angeles Laker. It's been up and down for the Lakers. I know people are like, "Oh, they unfair," and Bron could play off the ball, which is true, he can, but also it's been up and down. They went against Anthony Davis less, Daniel Gafford less, basically all bigs, really all real bigs less Dallas Mavericks, and it was a fight to the finish. It was a dog fight, and if PJ Washington could have scored just 10 points, that could have made a big difference for that game. So, I think the Dallas Mavericks, obviously, we have not seen really anything from from the Dallas Mavericks because Anthony Davis played 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and said he was here, talk mad shit, and then they get injured, and he's been healthy all last season, and most of most of this season up until this point. He gets to the Mavericks, now all of a sudden he gone. Now he gone for a month or two. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but I will say for the Lakers, for me personally, it brings me no joy to see anything good happen for the Lakers. Obviously, I will never ever be happy if anything good happens for the Lakers. I hope they lose all the games. They have one of the toughest remaining schedules of the year apparently as well. So hopefully they lose and we fall to like 50 or something like that. You know, it maybe fall even further. I don't even know if that's possible, but just keep falling. I don't want to see them succeed. But Luka and LeBron.
Wait. Hear me out.
Uh-oh.
They have to win their next 3 games, so the Warriors can fall to 6. And the Warriors have to win theirs too. The Lakers play the Timberwolves and then the Clippers twice. They gotta win those.
So here's what I would like. I would like the Lakers to lose to the Timberwolves. Just because. I would like the Warriors to win all 5 of their games on the road. The Clippers can lose. I don't care about the Clippers. I need the Timberwolves to beat the Lakers just because I just want them to win. I just don't want the Lakers. I need the Lakers to lose at least one of them games just so I could be like, see, them niggas ain't that nice. I need that. I need Austin Reeves to put up like a 1-for-9 game. I need Luka to shoot, some tour dates. I just need that once or twice. And once I get that, then they can win the rest of the games. And then, Warriors move up. We good. Like, everything good. But I just don't want them to see them succeed too much because they start feeling themselves. And, ESPN don't talk about nobody else.
Nobody.
I mean, they've been talking about the Warriors recently because they start winning again. And, it's like a Steph love fest all of a sudden after quarter gold or some shit. I don't, and the All-Star weekend. Like, it's like they finally starting to, whatever. But that's all they talk about. So, what'd you say?
Cavs are 48-10, and they don't get no love from ESPN.
That's true. Not that I ever want to discuss anything about Cleveland personally, but I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Look, I said it earlier. I think because I saw somebody said I thought that was a Jay Williams. His punk ass said JJ Redick should be coach of the year. And it's like, come on, man. If you're going to put any 2 people up there for coach of the year, in my opinion, you got to look at, Kenny Atkinson, obviously, to me, would be coach of the year because nobody expected any of this shit out of Cleveland. You might expect Cleveland to be a top 4 or 5 seed, but you would not expect them to be so high above and doing what they're doing in the Eastern Conference and just dominating the way that it's not even just the amount of wins, it's how they've been winning. Like, they whooped Orlando's ass.
Yeah,
that was a slaughter. Like, I was like, yo, that's crazy. And that's what makes, I think, the Cavs so interesting going into the playoffs because they continue that play. It ain't many teams that's going to really compete with that. Now, obviously, the Celtics could obviously compete with that. The Celtics probably the only team I think that could really, really compete with them based on how they're playing this year. But I like what I'm saying from the Cavs. The Cavs definitely need more mention, more. It's interesting. Like the Cavs, I think the Grizzlies also need mention too because the Grizzlies are playing well. They top 3 seed in the West, and the West is a dog. The West is a dog fight in the top 5 or 6, and it's dog shit after you get past the top 6 or 7 because it's nothing but stank and down there. But I feel like for what the Cavs have done, OKC probably need more mention too. OKC number 1 in the West, and I don't see very much listed. Like, I think SGA should be MVP, and I still don't see a whole lot of that talk. So the media does not do what it needs to do in terms of promoting and pushing, pushing these players and these teams in these quote unquote smaller markets. But obviously, Lee, we knew you were going to mention the Cavs at some point, so obviously, that's fine. The Cavs are succeeding. Cavs are doing what they do, and I mean, it's amazing to watch. Kenny Atkinson, obviously, for Coach of the Year for me, and if not him, shout out to JB Bickerstaff out there in Detroit. The Pistons, I don't know.
They just won a fucking 8th straight, man. I watched most of that game.
Yeah.
So they took care of us. We ain't had JB, but they won their 8th straight.
They beat y'all?
Yeah, they beat us by 20.
Damn.
I wasn't even because I'm doing this. I wasn't even looking at the TV. I wasn't even looking at the TV. Damn.
So I was watching. I mean, I said no JB. Like I told other Celtics fans, it's Celtics fans. Well, basically, it's Tatum fans. They try to diminish JB. I'm like, yo, when he's not playing, we don't have enough slashing because Jaylen Brown's the number 1 post player in the NBA. I don't think people notice that. They be like, oh, all Boston people shoot threes. Most of them do. But when JB's in there, he's the 15 feet and in guy. When he's not playing against certain teams, we chuck up way too many threes. That's what happened tonight. And Detroit handled business, man. Cade did his thing. Beasley had 22 off the bench. They took it to us, man. Warren did his thing.
Jeff,
Drew wasn't there.
Jeff, do you think they're saving Jalen for Friday?
Nah, he got hurt yesterday against Toronto.
So
okay. He's 50-50 as far as Friday. I don't think we overlooked Detroit at all, man. They done won 8 straight. So we know what they can do. It was just like second night of a back-to-back. He got banged up yesterday. Let's not push it. And, yeah, when he's not playing, we get too perimeter happy. That's my one issue with this team when he's not playing. That's why I hate when Tatum stands be trying to shit on JP. Like, yo, he's the post option. He gives us variety on offense. Like, he's a 15 feet in guy. He gets to the line. He posts up. Like, because at times Tatum gets 2-3 happy.
Yeah,
that's the only issue I got with him. And the team follows his lead with that. So when you don't have the best slasher and the best post player against certain teams, it's going to look rough. And that's what happened tonight, man. And Beasley, man, he a front runner. Like him and Tobias, somebody keep that same energy in the playoffs if we meet them. That's all I got to say about that. But they cooking up.
X, there's not a world that exists where Tobias Harris and Malik Beasley are going to keep any same energy in any playoffs. I just can't imagine a world where Tobias Harris is doing anything substantial in the playoffs. I just can't, which is why I don't put too much stock into what the Pistons are doing, because it's Cade and a bunch of other niggas. That's how I look at it. It's Cade and a bunch of other niggas. That's how I look at it. Cade is the engine that keeps it going. Obviously, Beasley can shoot. I don't have nothing good to say about Tobias.
Like Sword Thompson is like one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. So I'm not knocking him.
No, he's great. But when we talk about Beasley, Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway, guys like that, you don't put stock in those type of players. You don't put too much stock into those type of players. But I will say this. For Detroit, I know it has to be an amazing feeling to go from being like a laughingstock of the NBA to having a superstar. And we had this conversation, I want to say a few months back, when I was like, if Detroit doesn't start winning, would it be possible for, the Pistons to start looking to like maybe move Cade so he can go play with, a team that he can go compete with? And then Cade just putting the team on his back.
We did discuss that.
So shout out to Cade, man. Cade is hooping. The Pistons look better than they have in years. I mean, years. So they got Dennis Schroeder over there now too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They won them a game.
Mm-hmm.
So like JB Bickerstaff's a hell of a coach, man. I'm not taking away from that. Like right now, I think they're tied for the 5th seed. So if they play Indiana, which I kind of hope they do, because it was real smoking in my regular season matchups. And Tim Hardaway didn't call Halliburton a bitch. That shit was hilarious. So
Pacers and Pistons in the playoffs.
Right now, I think that's the matchup.
We didn't see what happens when the Pacers and Pistons play when it's some bad blood. So we've seen in the past what happens if they play with some bad blood. I don't think we'll ever get another one of those. But yeah, man. Speaking of the Pacers, anybody at all feel they're a threat at all?
They've been playing good in 2025, dog. Like I think they're 16-5 since the year started.
Mm-hmm.
So they started off slow, but they got a good balanced team. They got, Halliburton. He's been playing better since the year started. Pascal's a 27-4 guy. Turner and Mathurin, they can give you something. They got good depth. I don't know how far they can get. They probably second round ceiling, but they ain't like no bum ass niggas, nothing like that.
Well, no, they're not bum, but I just don't trust that team come playoff time. And I guess this is where it's important to mention another team who I believe won today, right? I'm pretty sure this team won. I turned the game off when I saw the score at one point, and I'm talking about the New York Knicks. They won, right? Am I? They won. I'm pretty sure they
Last
beat
I
the
saw, it was
76ers.
up 10. I didn't really tune into that game. Let me see. This other games is better that's on. I refuse to watch the Sixers play this year, man.
The game's still on and it's close. Apparently, the game is still on. I think it's close.
They on an 8-game losing streak. I don't watch teams on 8-game losing streaks like that. I'll tune in. I'm not like about to. I got league pass. I'm not ready to just like focus in on them weak ass niggas, man.
Yeah, I got league pass for another 3 weeks before they try to charge me, and then I'm canceling that bitch. But
it's a 1-point game. Oh shit!
It's a 1-point game now. So the Knicks, all this fanfare, they can't beat the contenders in the East. They don't look great when they play a really good team. I don't think any of us on this panel believed that they were going to be a serious contender really anyway, but I did expect it to be a little bit better. I mean, you got so much talent. Shout out to Tay, the greatest defender of all time in the history of the NBA, just popped back in, and he ain't really been much of shit. But they're also currently playing. They're also playing a funny team that the fact that 76ers are within range. Did Paul George say he was gonna stop podcasting to make for a championship push? Now, these niggas was in 12th seed the last I checked. I don't know how much of a playoff push you doing at the 12th seed. Embiid is not even Embiid is seeking options for his injury, so we don't even know what's going on with Embiid and if he's going to be healthy enough. So we don't even know what that's about. But 76ers trying to make a push, I guess. Tyrese Maxey, they got some tough games coming up, and if they lose this game, they might as well just they lose this one. If they lose against the Warriors next, you might just cancel it and just sit Paul George there. Tell us to go back to the podcast, Mike. And don't even worry about it this year, and just focus on next season. Keep tanking, try to hold on to a draft pick or something like that. I don't know what their situation is. Maybe I think I read there was like top 6 protected or something. Maybe I'm not 100% sure, but whatever the case may be, the Knicks clearly are not who people wanted them to be. Obviously a playoff team, but. Let me ask you real quick, Ted, while we talking Eastern Conference. Miami Heat, ever since they made the Jimmy Butler trade, last I think they were 1-6. I think that's what I read. 1-6 since the Jimmy Butler trade. How you feel about the Heat right now?
I don't. I've been trying to. I'm watching, but I'm watching in such disgust. And it's like,
oh man,
I really don't even have much to say about them because I know I'm gonna get mad the more I go into it. Because it's like, I like the adjustments that they've made, like Ware at the center, putting Bam back in his correct position, all that stuff. But it's like at the end of games, I don't know what go through Spoelstra's head. Some of these lineups and like I'm just not understanding what's been wrong with him this season. It's really frustrating watching them. They currently 26-30. Wiggins has picked it up, which I expected, but at the same time, it's like they've been beating teams, and then once the end of the game hits, fourth quarter, it's like they lose their brain, bro. And I like everybody, including the coach. So it's frustrating, right? Watching them, bro. I really try not to think about it after the game is over, but you just forced me to talk about them. So
my apologies, brother. My apologies.
Like you, it's so disappointing. You can have the floor, bro. It's so disappointing.
It's bad. It's bad. I know. I apologize, brother. Well, I guess to pivot away from talking about the Miami Heat. I mean, OKC is still number one. Denver Nuggets. So the Denver Nuggets is interesting, right? The Denver Nuggets just got their ass whooped by the Lakers the other night, right?
Mhm.
But then they come back and then they win the next game. Jokic is, out there doing all his crazy, crazy shit that he usually does. But do we feel like do the Nuggets really feel like contenders? They went a long win streak against not so great teams. But then they start playing other teams who are kind of in that playoff range, and they don't look as great as they did when Jokic went on this long streak of triple doubles and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So man, I'm gonna go back to you, Ted. Let's talk about something non-Miami Heat related.
Uh-huh.
Do you feel the Nuggets are like a real threat, or do you think they'll get to the playoffs and struggle a little bit because they have had some games where they struggled against like solid teams?
I think they are the Western Conference New York Knicks.
Mm.
Ooh.
They are.
I agree
on
with
paper. On paper, they look good. Like they can. You can tell they had these stretches where everything is gelling perfectly. Jokic is going crazy, triple double after triple double. But then you look at the schedule, and they're not really playing nobody notable. But then when they do play somebody, New York Knicks, a contender,
that.
they struggle. So I think, and ironically enough, I think they're both third in the conference. Am I tripping?
You're not wrong.
Third or fourth,
Something like
regardless.
that.
But yeah, I think second round ceiling, maybe. I don't think Jokic is going to be enough. Because Jamal Murray hasn't even been as consistent as they would need him to be this season. Like he has some good games, especially recently with the streak they went on. But yeah, I don't think Jokic is gonna be able to carry that squad.
What'd you think, Lee?
If I was a Nuggets fan, hearing that from Tev, that would hurt because you don't want to be you don't want to be like the Knicks or the Nuggets where you play well against average to mediocre teams, but against the upper echelon, you struggle and lose by 20 at home, like what they did to the Lakers. But when you have a guy like Jokic who could win his fourth MVP, I know you have Shea winning it, but when you have a guy like Jokic, that should give you more than a chance to compete and maybe beat one of these top teams in the playoff series. But Jamal Murray, even though he has played better, he'll have to be playoff Murray in one of those playoff series, and they need an X factor, somebody like, I don't know, Christian Braun or Aaron Gordon to play better, and who knows, that maybe they'll have a shot.
What you think, X? What you think about the Nuggets?
Jokic definitely does a lot of carrying. Jamal Murray's gonna need to step up in the playoffs. He usually does, but he's definitely gonna have to be the 24, 25 point per game guy that he's capable of being in the playoffs. MPJ, I don't know. I'm not really impressed with him too much. He be disappearing a little too much for my liking. Brown, we'll see what Christian Brown can do and Aaron Gordon, but it's matchup dependent. They could easily go to the conference finals or they can get eliminated in the first round depending on who they play. Like if they play Minnesota in that first round, it's going to be spooky. Minnesota don't fear that team at all.
Mm-mm.
They 30-piece them boys earlier this year. It's really like matchup dependent. And if they play Houston, they got Houston. But like some of them teams down low, like even if they play Golden State, I don't know how that's going to go. That might be a first round exit for them too. So it's really matchup dependent. Jokic, he going to do his thing, but I'm concerned about the others. I just kind of feel like at times it's a Jokic carry job, and that concerns me as far as like if they're contenders or not.
Yeah, I definitely need to see a lot more from both Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., especially going forward with what they got going on. I kind of feel the same way you feel, X, like conference finals or first round exit, somewhere in between there. My question is, I know we're talking about KD getting traded at some point. Is there any world where KD gets traded to the Nuggets? Like, does that even?
They don't have enough assets.
Yeah, they ain't got enough pieces to make that shit. It makes sense basketball wise, but they ain't got enough pieces.
I mean, contract wise, what they got? Michael Porter Jr. make like 30 something, maybe. Jamal Murray, I don't really know if that would. I don't know how much that would be, but I don't know. You never know. You never know what's going to happen in the NBA because obviously when they did the Anthony Davis and Luka trade, which clearly seems like some collusion that happened there because the way they've been promoting and Luka, I had to write an article the other day for the site I work for that covering Luka fucking getting a special Gatorade bottle, selling a special and I was like, come on, bro, like this really, I ain't seen Luka sell no Gatorade bottles or make no special bottles the whole fucking time he played. Now all of a sudden he in LA, that's what we doing. Like, all right, so cool. So
I don't like the smear campaign that Nico did. I think that's some bullshit. Like,
so if smoking hookah is so bad, then there's like a ton of NBA players that should have that same issue because them niggas be in them clubs after the game smoking that hookah with them girls doing the same shit. Like, I ain't gonna out nobody, but when I was in DC, we all know what John Wall used to be doing. He was a Rose Bar. Nigga be at every, like, John Wall was out there. He ain't in the league no more, but them players ain't done nothing different. Devin Booker is crying that Hooters is closing. I mean, like this is the NBA. These are we talking about athletes who make a ton of money. They go out, they party, but they still take care of themselves enough. Luka could drink as much beer, smoke as much hookah as he wants. The nigga could drop 30 on you and have a triple double. That's like, who cares? I mean, maybe they're right in 5-6 years when he's in his 30s that he might be slower or he might be more injury prone because he ain't take care of himself. But who gives a shit? Like, he's 26, but he's 26, like, and he's still hooping. That's, but the Mavericks, obviously, there's more at play here for the Mavericks. I think there's a lot more behind the scenes that we don't know yet, that as the years go by, we will be crystal clear on why they made this decision. Is not a great decision for the basketball team, but if you were looking to piss off your fan base and move your team at some point, which I still think, despite their denial, that's where this is headed. If that's the case, then I guess it makes sense. It's just dumb. And now Anthony Davis ain't even playing. Don't know when he's going to be playing. So maybe the Lakers don't win a championship this year, which I don't necessarily think they will, but they'll still go a lot further than the Dallas Mavericks will. So that much is for certain. And even if the Dallas Mavericks made a trade for KD in the offseason, KD, AD, and Kyrie, that shit don't move me. I'm not moved by that. Not in 2025 going into 2026. That's not moving me. KD like 37, me like 37, 38. Kyrie another year older. AD another year older. And clearly when he left LA, his body just decided to change up too. So I don't know if it's Texas weather. I don't know if he, Braun's trainers just automatically was like, we ain't fucking with you no more, whatever he got going on. But that obviously made a big change. But last question to everybody. Is there any team that's on the bubble right now that you see making it out the bubble? By the bubble, I mean the play-in. And the play-in right now on either conference, you see any of those teams rising up to still 5th or 6th seed as we head into these like last 25 games of the season? Let's start with you, Lee.
Who could? Maybe in the is Orlando in the? Where's Orlando at?
7th. So yeah.
Okay. I picked them in the East.
Okay, they're healthy again. So
yeah, I know they got thrashed by Cleveland, but it seems like everybody's getting thrashed by Cleveland lately. So that's one of those games where you just throw it in the trash, move on to the next.
Yeah, okay. So you got the Magic. Tab, who you got?
You already know who I got. The Warriors.
Don't say it again.
The Warriors.
That's okay. Yeah. That's damn sure who I'm picking.
Easy pick for me.
Yeah. I knew what you were going to pick already.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Clippers in Minnesota don't really. Clippers, I don't know. They not. I don't think they beat the Lakers. I'm gonna say it again. I need the Lakers to win. You would never hear this out of me again. Never in life.
That sounds painful.
I need the Lakers to win them.
Painful.
It hurt. My chest hurt. But I need them to win these next 3 games.
All right, who you got?
Well, I don't like Golden State at all. So, and then y'all already them. So I'm not even going to say them. I'm going to say Minnesota, but they're going to have to keep starting Naz Reid, and they're going to bring Angry Man Julius Randle off the bench.
Oh, boy.
If we get White Dante back and Rudolph can come back, I think they could probably do a little something because I tweeted it out over the weekend. They don't fear OKC at all. So if they get to like the 8 range, that's going to be a pretty tough matchup. They already beat them twice this year. I don't know, man. Like that could be a tough matchup. They could be a tough out for them. And if Denver finishes like 2nd and they get the 7th seed, they could beat Denver too. So I'm rolling with Minnesota. It's a dark horse. They could definitely win a first-round series. They could probably beat Memphis too, depending. Like they can match up well against any of those teams. They gotta keep starting Naz Reid. Like the Randle in the starting lineup thing ain't working. They just flow better with Naz Reid. Randle gonna have to eat the bench role. He gonna be mad, but fuck it. It's too much evidence. Like they're in this hole because you was in the starting lineup, dog.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. They need to keep playing the young boys too. Play Terrence Shannon Jr. Play Jalen Clark. He played really good defense on Shea.
And Dillingham.
Yeah, the guy get run to Dillingham too. So like he needs to implement the young boys. Keep Naz Reid playing. Bring in Randle off the bench. Randle probably cook off the bench, man. Like who knows? But his ego might not take it, but fuck it, man. It's just about playoff position. You want to put your pride to the side, though.
You're asking a lot from Julius Randle.
Yeah,
a lot. Yeah, a lot. That nigga be pouting on the damn court, like passing the ball with an attitude, he be passing the ball like he mad as shit. Like I ain't never seen no grown man on the court pass the ball like that. But hey, I agree with you. To me, it's between Golden State and Minnesota as the team that rises up. I don't see Clippers. I mean, who knows?
They're trending downward. for sure.
Yeah, the Clippers overachieved early on, which is typically how they typically do. They overachieve at some point in the season, whether it's the early part or like towards the end, because coaching wise, they had a decent coach, but they trend upward at some point and trend downward, or they just fall too short when it comes to the playoffs. But
they're too old too, yo. That's my issue with the Clippers. Like they got Batum, Patty Mills, Derrick Jones is cool. Bogdanovich, Ben Simmons, they don't have enough like athleticism and young juice to really.
That's true. Not enough flexibility in terms of what they can do. Also, they kind of capped themselves when they made those big trades at one point too. So we shall see what happens with the Clippers. But you ain't got to worry about what's going on with DAR Sports Media. We have been ripping and running, doing a lot. Shout out to my brother Apollo Kim Moore, as he's also known for Shock Sports / DAR Sports. He's currently he was at the Michigan State versus Maryland game. That's number 8 seed versus number 16. I will be present at the Cincinnati Bearcats versus the 18th ranked West Virginia Mountaineers for women's basketball. I was just at their game versus Utah as well. We'll be doing hockey both Friday and Sunday. We just had our most viewed day on the Medium site today. That's which is crazy, and we just surpassed January's numbers in clearly a shorter time and a shorter month, mind you. So, big shout out to everybody who reads what we do. Big shout out to everybody. Make sure you follow my man Jeff Axel, the Hoop Panel. He always got y'all covered with them NBA videos and basketball videos in general. He be cooking at Unstoppable X on Twitter or X, whatever you want. I ain't calling that. It doesn't even sound right calling it X. Not doing that ever again. But make sure, of course, you follow Lee Harvey. I hope he posts some more videos on YouTube of him getting cooked in the gym when he plays basketball, because that's a highlight when he posts those things. Of course, my man Tev at Tev_bands on Twitter. Make sure he got some articles that went up on the Medium site as well. Shout out to my man Scotland. He got another article that just went up this week. He got more on the way. We will be back with World of Wrestling this weekend. Big weekend there too. Just a lot of shit going down. Because y'all already know, World of DAR never stops. Hey, Eric, cut this shit off, man.
All right.
We can all just leave. And I guess the shit says he just cut this off.
All right. Woo. This is light work. Come on, spill the tea. Yeah. Ooh. All right. Woo. This is light work.